Everything that you have learned about manifestation, including everything on this channel, is being filtered through the one thing that blocks it. And for me, it's been 5 weeks of silence, not because I had nothing to say, but because I needed to go somewhere deeper before I came back to you today. Now, I have spent decades studying manifestation, not casually, not from a few books or a few YouTube rabbit holes, but decades of serious study, tracking what works, what doesn't work, and more importantly, why. And alongside that, I have spent over 20 years immersed in ancient Eastern wisdom. Not just about the Bhagavad Gita, which I talk about a lot, but enough texts and teachings and traditions to fill a library. I've traveled the world. I have sat with spiritual teachers and gurus across different lineages and traditions. I have gone looking for the truth behind the truth. And somewhere in all of that, I thought I understood what consciousness actually was. And then I became very ill. And in that stillness, that forced slowdown. And I started replaying the same teachings that I had absorbed for years. And something happened that I didn't expect. I heard them differently. Not because the words had changed, but because I had changed enough to finally receive what was actually being said. The same words that I had absorbed for 2 decades suddenly landed completely differently at a different depth. And the one truth that kept coming back above everything else is you are not the mind. You are not the thoughts. You are not the conditioning. You are the awareness watching all of it. And I thought I knew that. I didn't know that. I'd understood it intellectually, but I'd been teaching manifestation mechanics from the level of the mind and not from the level of awareness. And that is what was missing. Now, if that just landed somewhere real for you, then hit the like button right now, because this video is for the people who are serious about understanding this at the deepest level. And that like button just keeps telling me to keep going deeper, if that's what you like. Now, most people come to manifestation teaching. They arrive as an ego looking for better results, and more money, better relationships, improved health, bigger confidence. And there's nothing wrong with any of those things. But here's the part that nobody talks about. If you approach these mechanics as an ego trying to get something, then you are working from a place of lack. Even if the techniques are correct, even if you do the gazing, the looping, the identity work, if the one thing doing these things still believes at the deepest level that they are a limited person trying to fix their life, the signal underneath everything is still lack. And lack, it cannot manifest abundance. Only abundance can manifest abundance. Let that just sit for a moment. Lack cannot manifest abundance. Only abundance can manifest abundance. Think of it like this way. Imagine 2 people learning to play the piano. The first person sits down terrified. They believe that they are fundamentally unmusical. They are desperate to prove themselves. Every note that they play is just loaded with anxiety about whether they are good enough. The second person sits down, curious. Now they know at the deepest level, they are not defined by whether they play well or badly. They are simply awareness exploring what it feels like to play the piano. Same instrument, same techniques, same practice, completely different relationship to the experience and completely different results. And that's the difference between using manifestation mechanics from the ego and using it from awareness. Now, here's where it gets important, because I'm not just talking about mindset. I'm not saying just think positive. I'm talking about something far more fundamental than that. I'm talking about what you actually are. Before you are a person with goals, before you are someone with patterns to break, before you are an identity to stabilize, you are awareness itself. You are the consciousness that is watching this video right now. Not the thoughts that you're having about this video. Not the part of you that agrees or disagrees. The part that is simply watching. And that part, it has no lack. That part has no limitation. That part is not broken, not stuck behind in life. That is what you actually are. And manifestation mechanics taught from that place is an entirely different experience. The ancient Indian text, the Bhagavad Gita, speaks of Krishna and the Krishnana, which is the field and the knower of the field. The field is everything you experience, your thoughts, your emotion, your body, your circumstances, your patterns. The knower is the one who witnesses all of it. Pure awareness, unchanged, unaffected, already complete. In that ancient text, Krishna says clearly, you are not the field. You are the one who knows it. And across every tradition that I have studied, across every teacher that I have sat with, across every text that I have read, the same truth appears again and again in different languages, in different cultures, different centuries. You are not what you experience. You are the one who experiences it. And this is not philosophy. This is the foundation of manifestation mechanics. You're not here to fix the field. You are the awareness, learning to participate consciously in how the field responds. The mechanics are not tools for a broken person to become whole. They are an instrument for an already whole consciousness to deliberately shape its experience. And that shift is everything. Now, I want to be honest with you about something. After 2 decades of study, after traveling the world, after sitting with teachers and gurus, after building a business and an entire channel on understanding that consciousness shapes reality, I still opened with the mechanics before I opened with this, the foundation. Why? Because the ego is subtle. Even a teacher, even someone who has healed, even someone who has genuinely transformed their life can still default to the level of the mind when they are creating, building, and producing. This is not failure. This is exactly what the ancient teachers described when they said awakening is not a single moment. It is a returning again and again to the awareness beneath the noise. And that's what this video is. My returning. And now your invitation is to do the same. So Here is how this changes the way you use everything that I've already taught. When you do the ladder test in a previous video, do it as the awareness choosing to explore how reality responds to a stable signal, not as an ego trying to prove something. When you work with samskaras that I talked about, do it as awareness choosing to imprint a new pattern, not as a broken person desperately trying to fix themselves. When you stabilize identity that I talked about in another video, do it as awareness choosing which version of itself to inhabit, not as someone trying to escape who they currently are. The mechanics do not change, but the one using them changes everything. So before you go back and watch any of my other videos on this channel, I want you to just sit with this one question, not necessarily to answer it with your mind. Just sit with it. Who is the one doing the manifesting? Is it the ego, the conditioned self, the person with the goals and the fears and the history? Or is it the awareness, the consciousness, the one that was here before all of that? Because the answer to that question determines everything about how these mechanics work for you. And go back through the videos on this channel. The ladder test, the quantum mechanics, the identity work, the karma video. Watch them again from this space, from this place, and you will find that they land completely differently. Not because the content changed, but because you arrived differently. And if this is your first video with me, welcome. You found the foundation first. Now go watch the rest in the series in order, and you'll understand manifestation at a level that most people never reach. So subscribe now, because every video in this channel is built on what you just received today. And drop a comment below and tell me, now, which version of you has been doing the manifestation? The ego or the awareness? And be honest. And most people have never even been asked that question before today. My name is Dion Goldsmith. This is Manifestation Mechanics. You are not broken. You are not behind. You are awareness itself, learning to dream consciously. And once you know that, everything changes.